Hello, everybody, to one of our talks. We are very happy today because we have here with us Markus Grosskopf from the, I don't know if I told the name right, but I will say only Markus. Markus from Helloween, and it's a huge, huge pleasure. The band is celebrating the 14 years of career, and they will be in Lisbon by the almost end of this year, and they have a new record. So it is a great pleasure to have you here, Markus. First of all, welcome to our
Hi,
talks.
everybody. Thank you for having me.
It is an enormous pleasure to have you here.
All right, all
The
right.
the next the next the your next album is called Giants and Monsters, and it
Yeah.
couldn't be more right for the band. But tell me one thing, how did this new record appear? How was the process? How did it evolve? Tell me everything about it.
Well, it was a very, very long process. We started already last year in the beginning with talking about, or in the middle or in the beginning of the last year. Well, what can we do? How we going to do it? And if we got some ideas were already there on the table, but it was like rough ideas, and we gave it such more time because we start writing. And as you know, we are many songwriters. It's like five songwriters in the band almost. And we said we thought it's a good idea to keep it to give it a bit more time to collect more ideas. And we always need a lot of time to get more ideas together. And the great thing about it is if you have many songwriters, you have such some ideas, you have such a variety of song material. You got so many different kind of song ideas, which is making this, especially this one, it makes it so interesting, to listen to, because yeah, well, you can tell this sounds very different from the other song, and there's a lot of variety in between the songs from one song to another. You can jump and you can hear it's a different approach, and that's what I kind of like. For example, by Andy has his classical rock pop, heavy metal pop writing, which
Yeah.
I really do love, because you can do like easygoing bass lines with it, and it jumps, and it's the song. Those songs are dancing, and then we got the typical Waiki stuff, which is a bit more complicated. And Sasha being very melodic, and Kai Hansen being Kai Hansen, and me being me. I'm always fighting for rock and roll.
You're always fighting for that makes me wonder.
and for freedom and
And
love.
and for freedom and love. That's why we
Yeah.
love you. That's why we love you. Having so many songwriters and so good among the band, is it difficult for you to choose, for you as a collective of musicians, to choose the songs that will be on the album?
Yeah, oh well, that is very difficult, because we have, it's not only what you hear on the record, we got some more material. It's not only that we write those 12 songs, we had almost 30 songs to
Wow.
listen to choose from, and we thought, well, it's a very hard decision. What the album should be in the end. You gotta paint a picture, and the colors, they need to fit somehow. They need to uh, kind of grab into each other, and it's never easy to do so, because the other songs are not in the album. They're not really bad, but
Of
we have
course.
you have to make a choice at one point. And it's, well, a lot of my songs were dying in this process this time, but this is what you got to live with. As a team player, you cannot expect that everybody's taken like 7 songs of mine, you
Yeah.
know and if they decide to paint the album like this, then it's okay with me. I play with my fellows, and I'm one of the kind, and
Yeah.
you gotta swallow your pride and do what's best for the
For the
record,
group. Yeah, of
and that's
course.
what we kind of grade it. I mean, I'm a team player, so it hurts, but it goes on like this, and the world is moving still.
Yeah, absolutely. The name of the album, it's pretty strong and very visual, because giants and monsters. Yeah, you are Helloween, so
Yeah,
you are
yeah.
giants and monsters. So I have to ask you.
No, no,
Um,
well, it's kind with the giants, and we fight each monsters.
yeah.
And each individual person, each individual human has a monster to carry.
And
Everybody,
that's the
yeah,
idea that you want to transmit with the name.
it's kind of that's the way I see it. It's like you're a giant. Everybody has some monsters and you got to fight your monsters. You got to fight your weakness. You got to fight your monsters in your brain. You got to find your sicknesses, your diseases. You got to fight your monsters. And so each of us is a giant. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, absolutely. When you choose all together the songs, do you have some kind of, I don't know, attention to so they match with each other, all the
Yeah.
12 songs,
This
not only in the sound but also in the lyric, or
this
don't?
well, this time I didn't pay them enough money to choose my songs.
Okay.
So I lost this game. No, no, we don't have like a big plan. I mean, there's no big concept behind the songs in general. It's
Hmm.
just like what we do like best will be on the album, and we recorded a couple of more tracks. And during the recording process, a song will be born. You will see him growing. You hear him growing, and then it appears like a monster or like a giant.
Yeah.
And some of them songs are that you thought is going to be cool. They sound okay, but not as good as other songs in the end of the production. So that makes it a little bit easier. And then we have like producers and management and record company people telling us what they would like to do, because if you write a song, you cannot be really, really objective because you're kind of too close to
Yeah.
your own ideas and you cannot let it go. So we appreciate people coming in, being close to Helloween, but not so close to the songs we wrote, telling us, well, this would be something my ears would hear, without being too emotional involved. And
Hmm.
that's always what we're doing. And it turns out to be a very good idea. Otherwise, it would be like non-subjective if we just choose it ourselves.
Of course, of course. Do you think this album could be considered like, I don't know, an evolution or a celebration of the Halloween's classic sound?
Yeah. Why not? We get some very heavy, long tracks on it,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
which is in a very, very much in a Halloween tradition. But then we got all this kind of rock heavy, even sometimes poppy stuff. It's classical Halloween in a manner of like having songs like "I Want Out," Dr. Steen, and all the good stuff. You can hear a bit here, you can hear a bit there. You can have very, very different stuff. Hey Lord kind of stuff is on it, and we just like what we did, and we love it. We fell in
Really?
love with our own record.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And the process of recording the album, it was made like, I don't know, like a traditional way, or did you add something new, something more, I don't know, modern in the studio, or something different?
Well, we just did it. I mean, in the way we always did it.
Mm-hmm.
We started very, very early using computer and files and sending
Yeah.
it back and forth and adding something to it, and making it better. I put the bass to some songs here to put the bass. We had a server because we had such a long tour the last one, the last tour for the last record. So we don't want to go back into the studio for like 3, 4, 6 months and then never coming home. So we
Yeah.
decided to sending files back and forth and fooling around with it and put your ideas to it. And we have like one main server based on the based on Charlie Bauerfein's main server, where it all comes together, and then everybody can put some ideas to it. We all have like recording equipment at home, and it's just working very, very fine.
You spoke about
Just because we're living and we're spread around the whole European continent, so it's going to be easy hanging out. Every couple of days, you go to the server, load something down, thinking, "Wow, this is cool." I put something to it, and so the song grows.
Yeah, absolutely. You spoke
It's
about
kind of very modern way of working, but that's what we did from the beginning also, and it's working fine with us.
it's working, and the result is spectacular. So it's okay like that.
Yeah, it
Let's keep
couldn't
it
get
that
any
way.
better. It couldn't get any better.
You spoke already about Charlie. He is one of the producers of the album, and the production of this album is very powerful. Tell me a little bit about your work with Charlie and the other guys that produced the album, and what was their I don't know, approach to the sound. Tell me a little bit about
I mean, the approach to the sound was get the fucking best out of the sound that you can get.
Yes.
I think we kind of got there in the end of the day, and yeah, Charlie was working a lot with the drums because he used to be a drummer or still,
Yeah.
and they had like 3 drum kits setting up and miking
3
up, and
drums.
yeah,
Jesus.
and then for each song they had the choice to use this one for like a more metal kind of attitude, and the other one for like a more rocky kind of attitude, and that's what Charlie did. They worked quite a lot on that bit, and it's been quite a time in the studio for recording the drums for like 6 weeks or something, just figuring out if you could do this, if you could do that, with this snare drum, with that setup, and it's kind of cool having this time and the possibility to do so. I was working in my own studio with Dennis Ward, because Dennis Ward is co-producing the whole thing with us. He's been involved to the mix as well, together with Charlie, of course. And he's coming to my place, to my little Shockhouse studio, and recording the bass over here with him. It's cool to have like a cool killer bass player right by your side. Then playing gives you a lot of inspiration.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're trying to be doing the best, having a great bass player sitting right next to you.
Did you felt some, I don't know, some more challenge in some of the songs to record it, or it was all them was fine, was cool?
No, it's cool. I mean, he has like a variety of his bass playing skills are so big. He plays all kinds of styles. I play a little bit of blues and a little bit of funk and and I play rock music and heavy metal bass guitar. Really cool. I do the best I can, but he's kind of comfortable with all kinds of styles, and he changes 2 note into some licks, and it sounds more interesting, because he knows if you change that little bit, it sounds more like this or like that, and it's great. It's just like the ideas I don't have, he's got.
That's the wonderful of working together with some great musicians. Yeah. Another thing that was absolutely, I don't know, overwhelming about this album was the voices, because you had the chance to have all 3 guys singing, and I have to work. It was difficult, it was cool, it was challenging. Tell me all about that.
The thing is, when I start recording my bass, and all the time, there was pilot vocals here and there, sometimes just like riffing stuff. I don't know how it's going to be in the end of the day. I'm just playing, and I never know who's going to sing that track.
Okay.
I will.
It was a surprise for you.
That's never clear till I hear the finished product, because they're fooling around with the vocals. The vocals are coming. It's the last thing being on the record. It's the last thing they recorded. They need the full playback to decide who's going to sing that track. And so when I play the song with my bass guitar, I never know who's going to sing it. So that's kind of interesting. I will have a big surprise always when the finish when the mix is done. To me, it's very interesting.
That's pretty cool because it will be like a really like a kinder
Yeah,
a kinder egg. You never know
yeah.
what's coming out of it.
Yeah, that's cool.
And do you like when you hear all the songs and you hear them singing
Yeah,
when all
I
the
mean,
songs? Do you say, "Wow, that's
yeah.
nice. I never thought
I
it
mean,
would be
it's
this
it's
voice
it's
here."
really really cool. I mean, when I heard like Michael singing "Universe" just in the very beginning, I get some goosebumps going on. And when I hear Andy singing his songs, it's
Yeah,
great. The
yeah.
finished versions are fantastic. I
Another
like
thing,
that.
yes, absolutely. Another thing that it's very impressive is the artwork because it's a beautiful artwork that you have in Giants and Monsters. Can you tell me a little bit about that? And if it's still very important, because we are living in a very digital world, internet and everything, music is coming all the way around Spotify and everything. And do you think it's still important to have a visual effect that combines with the sound and the idea that the band has for the album?
Well, definitely. I mean, we're living in a modern world, and there's some such genres out there
Yeah,
far away from heavy metal. They don't even do CDs anymore, and they
absolutely.
do it very in a very very different way. But they come and they go. They're here for a couple of years, and then you never heard of it again anymore. But I think the rock and the metal genre is like people want to hold something in their hands. They know who's producing, they know who's mixing, and they know
They know
who's playing.
everything.
They know who's playing keyboards as a guest, for example. They know everything, and they want to read it. They want to have it in their hand. They want to have like a physical thing. They want to read all the lyrics and all that stuff. Rock fans are very, very good with that. They want to have their piece. The recollectors, they buy vinyls. We do a lot of vinyls
Yeah, you do.
already. Again,
Again.
we
Yeah.
do thousands and thousands of vinyls again. There's a big market for vinyls.
Do you,
That's
do you,
what they want to have.
yeah,
Metal fans and rock fans are real
a
collectors,
real,
and
yeah, they are.
I kind of like it.
Yeah. When you look at the artwork of the Giants and Monsters, do you feel it's exactly what do you want to say in all the musics? Or I mean, it combines everything.
Yeah. It's like the Pumpkin Man. He's got to
Pumpkin.
fight the monsters, and we as a union and all the Halloween fans are like the pumpkin community. We're all fight against our monsters or against anything that's coming at us, and anything that's coming up to us, trying to limit us. We want to fight for our right to be what we are. You know.
Absolutely.
We,
Do you
we
think?
so we fight against all
Yeah.
monsters being against us.
Yeah. Let's be pumpkin forever.
All right, all right.
Do you think there is a special song that I don't know represents the actual time of living of the band, the actual moment that you are living?
I don't know. Maybe it's Kai's songs are always like a little bit like that,
Yeah.
and Universe is so far this song, and from that kind of progressive type of songs, which I really really do identify with.
For you, as the greatest bass player, do you still
Thank you.
it was easy for you to record again, and do you still feel the pressure to be better than the previous record?
Well, yes, you got to grow.
You gotta go.
You got to go. You got to grow with it. And you got to think about it's not having like the 17th album out. It's not going to make it easier,
Yeah.
because you have to try to do something. Well, you cannot invent the wheel anew, but you have to try to find something fresh, something. I mean, of course it's still hard. It's already hard to find something that you didn't do, that you didn't play, but then it needs to fit the song as well. You cannot do any shababble shabubble shabibble just for the shababble shabubble shabibble being in the song.
Yeah.
Everything you do has to fit the song, has to comfort the song, has to comfort the part you're playing. You cannot needle and doodle like hell into a chorus line, then the ear is while the ear is concentrating on the vocals, and you shouldn't disturb this. A chorus line should always be a chorus line. You shouldn't play it to death. And that's what the art of songwriting is all about. You shouldn't, overdo anything you do, which we sometimes are close to with loads of guitars and loads of this. But it's not my own decision. There's other people, they want to add some guitars to it or some keys. Sometimes it's a lot of stuff for the listener to concentrate on. But in the end of the day, I try with my bass to kind of thinking of, well, what's best for the flow of the song, without missing the typical Markus shebang.
Markus shebang, I love it. Markus, after all these years creating good and fantastic music, what still inspires you to pick up the bass and make some noise?
It's like the wish to carry on. It's like the party. It's the rock and roll. It's the wish of being one of a kind. You did it 40 years. You challenge yourself to do it another 10, 20, I don't know.
30.
You want to prove it. You want to prove it to yourself in a way.
Yeah.
And then if you very, very comfortable with it and satisfied, then that's what we always did. Then the people may like it as well, But you got to be comfortable first. You got to comfort yourself with what you're doing, and then all right, this is what I do. This is what I did. I gave my best here. Hope the people do like it, I mean, you got to be true. It's got to be authentic for yourself. Absolutely. And then it's hopefully coming across
for the others. Yeah. Looking back, you are in the band since the first moment. Looking back, what moment do you consider was a turning point in Helloween's career?
I don't know. Well, one of the big turning point is when Andy came in, and we were kind of crashed out with before he came with 2 albums, and Michael had to go. We kind of fired Michael, and then we were at the point where we thought, well, what are we going to do? And Andy came in and said, I'll tell you what we do. You got to be going back to what Helloween can do best. It's like power metal. And so we wrote like the Masters of the Rings in a very, very short time. And that was Andy coming in telling us, all right, you got to do this. You missed a little what you were creating it for, so let's do this. I'm here, I'll help you. And it was working. That was a kind of changing point in a way.
Do you still remember why did you choose the name Helloween?
Because we couldn't think of something better. And we needed the name quick, actually.
Really?
Yeah, because we had the offer to do some recordings for the death metal sampler in 84 something, and we needed that name. And within 3 weeks, we had to have a name for that band. And Ingo came up with the name Helloween, coming from the movie. But then we changed the A into an E, put the pumpkin in the middle. In the beginning, we had the problem that there was an American band called Helloween with a pumpkin in the middle as well. So we couldn't use the pumpkin for America in the first couple of years, and so we used the world, the ball, the earth. But they couldn't make it.
They couldn't make it.
So well.
After all, so many concerts and festivals and everything, do you have anything special that you still remember as that special moment on stage?
It's the next time when I go on stage, I tell you, that special moment I'm waiting for.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
It's actually, I tell you what, every little fucking gig is very, very special, because you got to bear in mind, it's not, we're kind of privileged to do what we are doing, and there's not many people being able to do so. And so kind of, I see it like every little fucking gig you're doing is very, very special for us, and you got to try to treat it as your very first gig, giving the people what you gave them what you gave the people like 100 gigs ago. You got to find that freshness. Even if you do a lot of shows, it's always special hitting the stage because it's always different. You go there, I'm trying to look the people into the eyes as far as it's working. The first 3 rows, I could see some eyes. I could touch some hands or something, and that's it. It's magic. It's the magic. Keeping it fresh.
When you look back, all these 40 years, um, how do you look? How do you see? How do you analyze all the things, all the great things that you and Helloween have built all over the years?
Well, it was like I see it in a. If I reflecting back, it's like well, we started and then we had a lot of problems. It's not always been fun in rock and roll. I mean, it belong also sad times uh, are belonging to a real long rock and roll careers like Ingo's death, and we had all this record company fights with the lawyers and all that kind of shit. All that belongs to one career. If you see it as one big piece, and then we were down to the ground, and then we're trying to push the whole thing back up to where it was before. And I see the whole thing like you like one massive kind of ball of career, with ups and downs all the way through. And that's kind of very, very interesting perspective when you think about all the good times and all the bad times you went through, you know. And now it's kind of going easy because we're kind of stepping up, 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 and it's working. The venues are getting bigger, shows are still sold out. I mean, I'm thankful, if I ever complain about anything, the dear God should immediately strike me with a lightning.
I hope he doesn't. I hope he doesn't. I
Yeah,
want
well,
to see. I want to
well,
see him in Lisbon playing for me.
so I wouldn't complain about anything.
No, I
That,
know.
but that's the way I see it, as a big ball of career.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking back, there is a special album for you or a special music for you.
Yeah, well, from Halloween.
Yep.
Well, it's of course there's so many special albums. Like the very first album, the first recordings from the death metal sampler means a lot to me. Like the Walls of Jericho and the mini LP, and then Michael coming in. It's you cannot say this is all going to be special, and then Andy coming in. This was like a very, very special time where we did something very, very different with Andy coming back, and then some killer albums with him in between. Now it's very, very special having the two new old guys coming back,
Yeah.
hitting the road with them, entering the studio with them. It's always special. There's so many special moments. I can't really think about
Mm.
what's the most special to come. I think the most special moment is to come.
Has to come. I
Still,
have to ask you this: what made you pick up a bass back then? Why didn't you choose the guitar or the
I don't
whatever?
know. It was like when I was very young, listening to music, I could hear the bass in the songs I was listening to. I could feel the bass. There was something special about this instrument that hits me right here, right in my heart, and I could really tell that's fucking a bass line, or that's fucking a rhythm with a drummer together. Even though I didn't have an instrument like this in my hands, I could feel what's going on in that music. And if I once got the chance to play a bass, it was like it felt like we belonged together. I started rehearsing and I didn't have any very big difficulties like
Wow.
getting the notes together. I mean, of course, I rehearsed like being faster, being a bit more precise here and there, of course, learn some scales and all that. But in the beginning, being in a punk band, I could three, four, 10 notes. I could play any song. A bass guitar and me, well, it belongs together from the very, very beginning. I wasn't even trying to play the guitar
You didn't
at
even.
first. I was starting with the bass, and that makes it very interesting. It's a love. It's a big love. I play guitar right now. When I do my demo tapes, some rhythm guitar, some solo bits. as as a layer, as a placeholder. It's working, but my heart beats for the bass guitar, you know.
You tell us before that you sometimes you play blues. No.
Yeah, I play some blues. I play some upright bass. I play
Wow.
some upright bass. I mean, the pandemic times, we weren't allowed to do anything anyway.
Uh,
And I thought to I said to myself, why not trying to do something that you always wanted to do but never had the time? So I bought an upright bass and I play the upright bass. You know, it's a
that's
very, very,
fantastic.
very different kind of style. You know,
Do you have a special, I don't know, interesting or someone that you look up to in the blues
and
area?
I kind of well all the very old blues guys
The
and
old
I
blues,
mean
yeah.
rock and roll and blues from like the 50s 60s. I do like Elvis, Chuck Berry and BB King and all those people, you know. The Rolling Stones, of course, I mean, it's great stuff, you know. uh, uh all those Sun record sessions, you know,
Yeah.
Johnny Cash and all that stuff, where they were playing with that upright bass, with that slapping bass, you know, with that percussive slapping bass. I really do like a lot. And then there's the kind of bit more modern kind of sound, like Walter Trout, you know him. I really, really do love him. His last record is a killer.
Wow.
When Dee Snider sings a song with him. I
You have to make a record, a blues record, Marcus.
Well, I do something with the upright bass in the next year. It's not
Oh,
blues. It's kind of based on. I also do like the Stray Kids, kind of rock and
wow.
I will call it rock and roll, Billy rhythm swing, some kind of.
We will have some
It's kind of
surprises next
blues. It's
year.
kind of swinging rockabilly feeling. I will do it with Jan Eggert from ex Master Plan. He plays guitars and sings, and we do a project together called like the Fireball Monkeys.
I
And
love the name.
that's kind of being me on the upright bass, and he's singing and playing the guitar. We wrote some killer tracks. It's just like a three-piece. Danny was playing drums so far. It's coming out next year,
Wow. Wow.
hopefully, at least in Asia, in Japan. I don't know if I can find a record company for Europe, but I try, you know.
Of course. And I hope someone is hearing the universe. We
Yeah,
have a
well,
really cool record here to come out.
the
Tell me.
universe has very, very big ears.
Yes, it has. Yes, it has. Tell me one thing. We are always on moving on festivals in Portugal, and we see that power metal is stronger. I can
Yeah,
see that.
yeah.
We have a
Mhm.
lot of bands that come on 3 or 4 festivals that we have here. Do you feel the same? Do you feel
It's
that power metal is having more strong
yeah, and
among
it's
the
it's
young ones?
it's all coming back. People listening to us or people listening to their favorite bands,
Hmm.
like listening to the old farts,
Yeah.
and then the young guys, and then they going back in time when they bought one or two records. They realize there's such more records out from their favorite bands. They going back in time, listening to what they did 40 years ago. Falling in love with this, and then they create something new out of it, you know, like the band Beast in Black. I mean, it's not new, this band, but they started something with it's almost kind of disco-ish
It's
with metal, and disco songs are cool. I mean, there's a great when I start listening to the bass guitars they do on disco tracks with a doof dak doof dak, and then playing some lines to it, you know, whatsoever, whatever they do, like hot chocolate stuff or something. It's very, very cool to rehearse. It's very, very cool to rehearse your timing, you know. You play a simple line, but you play a line and you're listening to the drums, and then you kind of trying to get something together so people are dancing. They're only dancing when it fits, you know.
yeah.
And that's what you gotta try to put together, and that's kind of cool, you know. But that about that genre. But there's still a lot of people taking what we did, taking what all the bands were doing, and trying to get something new out of it, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. The legend goes on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're carrying it to the next
Uh,
level. They're carrying it to the next generation. You know.
when you are on stage, do you like watching the audience?
Yeah, well, I always do. I always do. Of course, I have to watch my notes here and there, but I like to flirting around with the audience. You know, they're
Yeah.
they give you such some energy. You got to look them directly into the eye. You got to communicate with them with the eyes and with your movements and with your looks. You know, it's I kind of really do love it. It's just like something very fantastic. You can see the energy from the audience coming at the band, and that gives the band an energy, giving it back to the audience. It's like cooperation and with energy. You can almost feel and taste it,
Yeah.
which is really great. That makes you, you know, that makes you happy. That's a drug in a
That's
way. And yeah, it's addiction to.
yeah. Next November 13, you will be in Lisbon
Yeah,
to give us a great show. I
right.
right. I have to ask you, will be the set list only on giants and monsters, or will we have the chance to hear some old stuff?
Of course, there will be some old stuff. You know, we play 3 or 4 songs from the new record, and
Mm-hmm.
the rest is old shebang.
Old shebang. And do you have any surprises for us that you
Of
can
course,
tell
but
us?
I cannot tell you.
Of course,
Then
I
it's
knew
not a.
that.
Of course, it's not a surprise anymore. Then,
Of course. And what do you expect from the Portuguese audience, Marcus?
energy. We need your energy to keep us fresh.
To
You
keep us
guys, you guys are keeping us fresh and young. Otherwise, we're turning into old farts slowly.
slowly. No, you won't. You are fabulous. Dear Marcus, it was a huge pleasure to have you here.
All right.
Have a great summer, and we'll see you um,
Yeah.
in November.
We haven't been to Portugal for many years, right?
For many years.
Yeah.
So we are all expecting and very anxious to have you here and
Oh,
to.
and what's the metal scene there?
It's
It,
pretty cool. It's
is
growing.
it growing? Because I can
It's
remember years and years ago it wasn't that big.
no, but now it's growing.
All right.
We had last weekend we had a wonderful festival here called Evil Fest. It was with Jesus Priest, and we had
Ah,
Korn and Slipknot,
all
and
right.
it's pretty
So
cool. Yeah,
it's
and
growing.
almost I don't know, every month we have good big concerts, and then we have a lot of venues with smaller ones, and it's a pretty cool scenario right now because youngest people are I don't know, they are looking for something not so mainstream. They want something
Yeah,
more powerful,
they
and
want
I think
something more
metal
real.
more real, and I think that metal will bring them
Yeah,
to
they
that.
want something emotional, you know.
Yes,
We
like
all need that.
Halloween, like Halloween.
We all need that.
We all need that. Marcus, thank you so
All
much.
right.
It was a huge pleasure, and I hope to see you in Lisbon next November
Yeah, it's
13.
been my pleasure. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Bye bye.